Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Let's Taste with the Intrepid Wino. My name is James Scaresbrook. I'm thrilled to have you watching another edition where I'm looking at some Australian wine, and that has, in this case, been submitted by Casella Family Brands from probably one of their more recent acquisitions that has joined the family from Morris of Rutherglen, which is a very, very important and historic producer in a very important and historic region of Australia. Probably, unfortunately, has dropped off the radar for a lot of people. Historically, it produced some of the best wines in Australia for the time because it harkens back to a time when the vast majority of wine consumed in Australia, such as it was, obviously it isn't anywhere near as much wine as is consumed now, but most of it was sweet wine or fortified wine, and the Rutherglen region in general is very famous for its fortified wines and has some of the oldest material in Australia. And you know, there are some people who believe that some of the fortified wines from Rutherglen do rival those of really important parts of Europe, like Porto. So, on this occasion, we are looking at the Morris of Rutherglen Classic Liqueur Topaque. This is a non-vintage product. Topaque had to change its name some years ago. Historically, it was called Topaque. But with the inclusion of Hungary in the European Union and the fact that the region is called Tokai, different spelling but still the same, anyone who was labelling their wines as Tokai were unfortunately no longer allowed to do that if they want to import wine into the European Union, and subsequently produced in Rutherglen. They had a number of years to make the transition, and they decided to refer to those wines moving forward as Topaque, T-O-P-A-Q-U-E. Now, from memory, I believe Tokai wines are made from muscadet or muscat. I could be wrong. I think ironically, Rutherglen muscat is made from Frontignac, but the Topaque wines typically, in this case, I believe in the Rutherglen they also have different designations that refer to how old the wine is. So these basically, it is generally a question of the average age. They will bottle some of the wine periodically, most years I would think, and then they would add the new vintage to that. So they talk about the average age of the wine in the casks, and there are some really amazing, very, very old wines in casks in the Rutherglen region, and you know, keeping in mind that these wines over time, as there is some level of evaporation, the wines get more and more concentrated and more sort of liqueur in nature. These are fortified wines, of course. Essentially, the wine is stopped partway through fermentation to retain residual sugar, and the way they stop the fermentation is by adding a spirit, which generally takes the wine up to 17% alcohol, in this case 17.5%. So this is a fortified wine, and it is really a shame that generally, you know, these kind of wines, dessert wines as well, sweet wines in general, apart from, you know, a few exceptions like Moscato, not consumed anywhere near as much as they used to be. So I'm really a big supporter of some of these fortified wines because they're amazing and they're incredible value. This Morris Classic Liqueur Topaque 500ml bottle is only $25, and really there is so much more time and effort and value in a bottle like this. They're criminally underpriced, and I am pleased that Casella bought Morris and there continue to be some producers who persist with these wine styles, because it would really be a shame to lose them. So I do highly recommend seeking out a bottle of particularly Rutherglen Fortified, because it's amazing value. And being that they're fortified, the wines do last a lot longer once they're open. They don't last forever, but they do last a lot longer than a normal still table wine. So you'll note that we are looking at very, very, very viscous brownish liqueur sort of wine here. If you can make it out, the legs are barely even moving, which is a function of the sugar, but more importantly a function of the alcohol. Very raisiny. Topaque, or formerly Topaque, typically has a sort of a tea character, but this is no exception. But sort of like a rum raisin. Beautiful, beautiful aromatic, very, very vibrant. It's amazing the way they hold on to their aromatics, even with significant age. Beautiful. Complex. Let's taste. So I'm not spitting this out. I find that with fortified wines, it's a good spirit and the sweetness. They are, better if you do swallow them and really save them in your mouth, because they do linger a long time. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous product. It's rich, but not really kind of cloying in the mouth. It fills the palate. It does have sweetness, of course, but it's very, very well balanced. There is even some savoury character here. Biscuity, nutty characters. That tea character comes through on the palate as well. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous wine, and $25. It's just it almost brings a tear to the eye, because these wines should be, you should be charging more for them. It's just a shame that people aren't buying them. So please do go to your local wine retailer of choice. I do ask for these kind of things. They're great things to keep at home. You can have this with certain types of dessert. You can have it with chocolate. You can have it with biscuits. You can have it on its own. You can even have it with a cigar if you are that way inclined. But the wines hold up. You could easily keep these open for a couple of weeks without any issue, and just enjoy it. Enjoy it slowly. You'll want to have a big party and open up a couple and allow people to enjoy the experience as well. Of course, thank you very much to Casella and Morris for very, very generously donating some samples for me to taste here on Let's Taste. If you would like to see your wines profiled on Let's Taste with Intrepid Wino, do get in contact with me. I'd love to hear from you. You can do that via my website, intrepidwino.com. Different ways of getting in contact with me, but also lots of different writing that I've done in the past. And you can also find out information about my podcast, The Vincast. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and check out some of the other videos I have on my channel. Like this video, share it on social media, and most importantly, please do comment. I'd love to hear from you. Share me your experiences with fortified wines from Morris or others, from Rutherglen, from the Barossa perhaps. If you're watching this video on Facebook, same applies. Just hit the like button to follow the Intrepid Wino Facebook page. This has been an absolute privilege. Thank you guys for watching, but until next time, cheers.